Welcome to Together We Awaken, Finding Light in the Dark. I'm Allison Brunner, your soul sister, human guide, and rebirth midwife. This is episode 15, When the World is at War, the Path of the Peacemaker. Take a breath with me. Let yourself arrive. Let's be here together in this now moment where we're safe and we're okay and we're tapped into our hearts and holding the frequency of love while also acknowledging any other feelings that are present as well with compassion. I hope this episode brings you some clarity, some relief, and perspective. As I speak, the United States has officially entered the war in the Middle East, and people everywhere are feeling it. I'm feeling it. Many of us are heartbroken. Some are afraid. A lot of us are confused and wondering, how is it possible that in 2025 we are still engaging in war and this kind of violence? What does this mean for the world and for us? For the people directly impacted, especially those in Iran and in Israel who are suffering, fleeing, losing loved ones, losing homes. And what does it stir up in our bodies, our hearts, and our memories? I'm taking this slow. So back in the early 2000s, I was a passionate advocate for peace. I went to rallies, protests, marches. When George Bush Jr. took us to war with Iraq, I was in the streets of Philadelphia screaming, crying, grieving, raging. I let myself be emotionally rocked by every headline. I matched the outer world in energy. I was in conflict with everyone who supported the war. I judged them. I raged. I let it consume me. I was volatile in the name of peace. But looking back, what impact did I really have on peace in the Middle East back then? Probably not much. Maybe none, if anything. If anything, I contributed more to the conflict in my own family, my community, my workplace. Something in me knew there had to be a better way. I read Gandhi. I watched documentaries on nonviolence. I bought the book, The Art of Peace by Philip Dunn. I even emailed the publisher to ask, what should a country do when another country attacks them? Should they just stand down? I was talking about, World War III. And I never got a reply. It's okay. But the question stayed with me. And over the years, I learned something. Violence begets violence, even if it's emotional and spiritual and not even physical. War does not bring peace, not real peace. So when I heard the news about U.S. involvement in the war this time, something in me responded very differently. I didn't spiral. I didn't get online to debate. I didn't follow every update. I got still. And when I tried to track into the energy, to sense what was actually going on beneath the surface, because that's what I do, I don't take any messaging at surface value, but I felt this almost physical bind over my third eye and my whole prefrontal cortex, like a gentle force was shielding me. It didn't feel nefarious. It felt like protection, like love itself saying, this isn't yours to carry or even look at much. And it wasn't in a cold or dismissive way, but directly. This is not for your nervous system. This is not your role right now. Because I already know what my role is. And maybe you do too. Share it in the comments. Because we all have a role in this. Even if it's simple. Even if no one else sees it. You might remember several episodes ago, I talked about the triangle of disempowerment. The archetypes of victim, rescuer, and perpetrator. It might be worth looking back on those, maybe episodes 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 5, something like that, 3, 4, 5. But when we engage from that place, we stay stuck in polarity. We see others as wrong or broken and ourselves as right or responsible. And it keeps us in conflict. But when we step out of that triangle, off of it, we see something else entirely. That this is a soul school. That each being on this planet is here, walking a path they chose for their own evolution. And our job isn't to control it, to judge it, fix it, or take sides. Our job is to love everyone. Love the ones we agree with and the ones that we don't. Love the part of us that wants to resist and the part that wants to hide. Because we're all walking through a hologram of opposites, peace and conflict, love and war, unity and division. And our job is not to indulge in either side forever, but to awaken through them and come home to love, to hold peace. And here's where I might sound like a broken record if you get my newsletter. As within, so without. If we want peace in the world, we have to cultivate peace in our own bodies. And that doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine. It means turning toward the parts of us that are not at peace, the parts that are afraid, angry, and in pain. We meet those parts with presence, compassion. We love the darkest places within us. Because when we do that, we love the cats that like to jump in front of the computer screen when we're recording. So much. Because when we do that, we are loving those around the world who are sitting in darkness too. Because we're all one. When we stop taking sides within ourselves, we stop needing to take sides out there. Leading up to this solstice the other day, the energy was so potent, as you probably realized. You probably felt it. Solar storms, the ongoing... Sorry, hold Hold on. I think she's just trying to find her equilibrium. Maybe in my lap. You want to sit here? We're recording. Okay. Um, where was I? So I was talking about the intense energies, collectively and from the solar storms, as I've been talking about. People everywhere are facing and healing ancestral wounds, emotional pain, major upheavals. And it's not subtle. And I felt it in my own body. It was showing up as sharp pain in different places, sleepless nights. And I couldn't figure out why. And I wanted to figure it out. That's my default mode: analyze, solve, and fix. But this time I couldn't, and nothing I tried worked. So I surrendered. I kind of didn't have a choice. I lay on the floor, soft music playing, and just breathed and just let it be. And then later, I turned on Call the Midwife, a show that I watch when I need to remember the goodness in the world. And in this episode, a character I loved died. When the floodgates opened, I cried like I hadn't cried in a long time. The kind of cry where your body's sort of trembling and something is leaving you, is releasing. And then another character in the show began praying Psalm 23. And before I get to that, I know that a lot of you who are on this path of awakening, who chose to be a part of the new earth and to help create that, mostly from within, are going through it too, physically or emotionally, mentally, or in all of those ways. So, Psalm 23. I hadn't heard that psalm in ages. I haven't opened a Bible since I learned about the lost gospels and how much has been distorted. But hearing it that night, it hit me in a place beyond the mind. It brought me back to when I was 11. I had a mysterious illness that looked like appendicitis. I was in the hospital with a very high white blood cell count, waiting for surgery. And my grandmother sat by my side all night. She anointed me with holy oil from Medjugorje, and she read Psalm 23 to me over and over. Medjugorje, by the way, is a place where I believe it was, so Mother Mary so they say, Mother Mary appeared to, I think, 6 children and gave messages, and I think that that's ongoing, still appears and gives messages. But so she was reading this psalm to me over and over, and I wasn't afraid. I somehow knew I would be okay. And in the morning, the doctors were stunned. My white blood cell count was perfect. So they called off the surgery, and they said, maybe a strawberry seed had lodged in my appendix that caused the extreme pain there. Sure. I knew that it was something else. I knew I was held. So today, I want to share that psalm with you, but not in the old, disempowered, we are sinners kind of way. I want to speak it as a mystic, as a sovereign soul, someone who knows that the divine is within. So I'll walk you through it verse by verse, but first, let me read you the original. Pulling it up. Okay, hold on a second. I have it on my phone. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for the sake of his name. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So here is my interpretation as a mystic. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The divine within me lovingly guides me. I am already whole. I'm not looking. I am resourced by the sacred intelligence that flows through all things. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, it says. He leadeth me beside the still waters. My interpretation. My inner wisdom calls me to rest in abundance, to return to stillness and beauty. I am led not by fear or striving, but by peace. The earth and the waters remind me I am safe. I am held. And it says, He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. My interpretation. My soul is not broken, only weary, and spirit renews me. I am gently realigned to my soul's true path, not for dogma or duty, but because divine order is encoded in my being. And it says, yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. In my interpretation, even when I move through darkness, uncertainty, or ego death, I do not fear because love is within me, as me. The boundaries and structure of the spiritual path hold me steady. I am not alone. And it says, Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. My interpretation. Even in a world of duality and opposition, I am nourished. I am sacred. I am chosen, not above others, but in remembrance of my divinity. I receive blessings beyond what I thought possible. And it says, the psalm says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. My interpretation. Love and grace are not rewards. They are my essence. I live in union with the divine, not as a visitor, but as a vessel. I am the temple. I dwell in sacred presence now and always. And so now I'll read to you the version I wrote myself to keep beside my bed in times of turmoil and despair. So take a breath with me and receive. The divine shepherds me from within. I am guided by love, not fear. All that I truly need is available to me. I am led to rest in places of beauty. I am drawn to still waters that reflect my soul. In the quiet, I am restored. In the silence, I remember. I walk paths of purpose and alignment to honor the sacred flow within me. Even in my darkest moments, I do not fear because love surrounds me. It is within me and without. The unseen hands of grace hold me. The invisible arms of peace steady me. Where there was once fear, there is now a feast. Where there were enemies, there is now understanding. I am anointed with remembrance. My spirit overflows. Goodness and mercy are my birthright. They are the companions of my becoming. And I dwell in the house of the beloved, the great one, right here in my heart, now and always. Right here in our hearts. We are home. So, I also want to speak to something many of you may be feeling right now, which is fear. Real fear. Fear that the war will spread and things will get worse. That global powers are escalating and everything could spiral. I've had clients and friends, even the lady at the coffee shop, admit that they're scared. And that's okay. That's human. Of course we're scared. There's so much we don't understand and can't control. But I want to offer you something else to hold alongside the fear. What if what we're witnessing is the final act of an old consciousness collapsing? What if the systems built on power, fear, and domination are in their last flailing moments? What if what looks like chaos is actually a collective contraction before rebirth? Why not? Because it's exactly what I'm seeing in us, in myself, in my clients that I work with, in groups, in my community, in my family. Why not? Because as within, so without. It doesn't mean we ignore the suffering. It means we hold a wider view. We remember this is not the whole story, that what we feed with our attention grows. So starve the news is my suggestion, or what I should say I'm choosing to do. I get the headlines, and that's enough. So instead of spiraling in fear, what if we placed our hands on our hearts and whispered, in my heart-shaped grounding stone, I am safe in this moment. I am guided. I am supported. I am not alone. Come back to your breath and to your body. Come back to the earth. Come back to the part of you that remembers. This is not the end. This is a turning. This is what I've been talking about for a while now. And we also need to remember something else. Yes, it's possible that more people will die. And that is heartbreaking. It's okay to grieve that. We send love, so much love, to those who perish and to those who love them and are left behind. And we remember we are eternal beings. The soul does not end. When the body leaves, the soul continues intact, eternal, and whole. There is no such thing as the end. Remember what I shared 2 episodes ago? As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. So as we face this moment of existential uncertainty, as we feel the nearness of mortality, what do we choose? Do we keep feeding the war machine with our judgment and our anger and our side taking? This is all an outer reflection of humanity's inner state. The conflict, the ego clashes, the divisiveness. It's a mirror. It's here to wake us up. Whether it's fighting on the internet, in traffic, in our own homes, it has to end. This is the opportunity. When I first heard that the US might get involved, my heart cracked just a little bit wider. I had this sudden, powerful desire to be kinder to people than ever before. That's what this can open in us. That's what we're being invited into. Of course, we can ask, does it have to come to this, though? Do we need war to wake up? Maybe for some, yes. Maybe not for you. Maybe not for me. Maybe we get to choose. So if you're afraid of losing someone or afraid of death, then ask yourself, how do I want to live? Do I want to spend these precious days fighting, shrinking myself, hiding? Or do I want to root deeper into love, to give my time, my energy, my attention to what really matters, even if that's to myself? This is the gift hidden in the grief. It doesn't erase the pain, but it does transform it. So maybe it's time to get to know your neighbors. Maybe it's time to see the people working at the businesses that you frequent as part of your community, as your sister or brother. Maybe you start to make small talk or show a little more interest, or take a closer look at who you're spending time with and how, and start to cultivate more loving, more heartfelt relationships. Maybe it's time to get a little more vulnerable. And if you're afraid, if you're staring down your own mortality or the loss of someone you love, ask yourself, how have others faced this? Think about those diagnosed with terminal illness. Many of them shift. They soften. They love more. They slow down. They start to see what really matters. I'm not saying that we're all going to die. In fact, I don't believe that. I believe with every cell in my body that we are going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We will be guided. Those of us who are here on a soul mission to help co-create the new earth will be supported and protected. And those who do transition may simply be choosing to help from the other side, to become guides, angels, helpers, guardians. We are not alone in this. We're not alone. Not now, not ever. If you're in a dark night or you're feeling overwhelmed by the pain of the world, ask for help. Ask Divine Mother. Ask your guides, your ancestors, your angels. Ask a human. They're here. They need permission to assist. And then ask yourself, how can I be more present with myself today? How can I soften around what hurts? How can I tend to my body, my emotions, my nervous system, with more compassion. When you do that, you're not just healing yourself, you are loving the world. As I said before, we are all one. If you would like to be held in a sacred space to go deeper into this kind of healing, you are always welcome in the hearth. It's my group circle where we come together to restore peace, to recalibrate, and receive energetic support. It's a healing circle led by spirit. The next open hearth is the first Monday in July. You can sign up at AllisonBrunner.com and use the code WELCOME for $50 off if it's your first time. Or bring a friend and you both will save. Your friend can use the code WELCOME and you can use, no, wait a minute, I'm getting that backwards. Yeah, no, that's true. They use the code WELCOME and you use the code FRIEND. And if you're looking for deeper one-on-one support, I'll be opening up a space for one new client, I think at the end of July, beginning of August, something like that. All the details are on my website. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your heart, your presence, and your courage to walk this path of the peacemaker. We awaken together. Until next time, go gently, be kind to yourself. With so much love, peace be with you and all of us.